Someone Better by I_am_Ellie on AO3. Episode 20. Chapter 19. Happy Birthday. Shouta had worked at his hero agency for 3 years. He had poured in long hours and had taken every case they threw at him, big or small. A simple troll or an hour-long stakeout. He had gotten his knee crushed while working for this agency. He'd nearly lost his life more times than he'd like to mention, and he got overwhelmed and shaky and sick so many times it was difficult to track. But he still came back, and he still put in the work, because this is what he had been working towards his entire life. He wasn't going to leave after a little hurt. He hadn't left when that villain had beaten his leg in with a pole. Hadn't left after the long, unfair hours and the lackluster pay. That wasn't who Shouta was. He didn't leave once the going got tough. If he was that type of person, he never would have gotten into UA's hero program. Probably would have never gotten into UA at all. Probably would be dead by now. Which is why he held his tongue when his first undercover mission fell less than 2 days before his birthday. 2 days before what was technically his and Hisashi's anniversary. Held his tongue when he knew that the mission was too dangerous, because he probably wasn't ready, especially with his skill set. He didn't say anything, not even when his mind flashed back to Izuku and how he had looked asleep in that emergency room after Shouta had injured his leg. He could do this. Shouta Aizawa didn't give up. This was his dream. This was all he wanted to do his entire life. He'd been working towards this since he was old enough to know that heroes were real people, not fake characters on the television. This is what kept him going through the motions when he was a child, when his scalp was burning and bleeding, and he was hungry and sick all the time, and he was small, so small and lonely. So Shouta held his tongue. There was a very widespread, very successful drug ring. Drug rings were something Shouta got assigned to a lot. He was stealthy enough, and they were fairly easy enough for someone of his rank in the agency. Drug rings he could handle. Going undercover in a drug ring was a completely different story. He was going undercover with 3 other heroes, Hizashi, Vlad King, and Tensei Ida, who had come to help from his own company. Said he had been keeping an eye on this ring for a while, but he never gotten suspicious enough evidence to place an arrest. Shouta wasn't sure what the drug was, exactly, and he wasn't sure he wanted to know if it brought the attention of Ingenium. Shouta hadn't seen Tensei in a while. Years, probably. He wasn't sure he knew the man all that well. Tensei had always been civil to him at UA, when the rest of the class seemed to despise him, bearing Hizashi and Nemuri, but they'd never quite bridged the gap between acquaintances and friends. Shouta had, truthfully, never really learned how to do that. All of his current friends, Joke, Nemuri, even his boyfriend, seemed to have just latched on and not let go when he hadn't been paying attention. But at least Shouta knew Tensei. He didn't know if he'd be able to handle going undercover with a stranger for however long this mission would take. When Shouta and Hizashi had woken up the morning before the mission, they were to spend the next few hours preparing weapons and practicing their backstories before the mission. He felt jittery and a bit sick with nerves. So many things were running through his head at once. What if the mission went on for longer than expected? What if he died? What would happen to Izuku? What if the mission was a failure? What if they took his hero license away? What if he was fired from the agency? After a bit of pestering from Izuku, Shouta had given him the okay to come to the movies with him, Hizashi, and Nemuri for Shouta's birthday. What if they didn't get to do that? What if this was his last birthday? What if... I can hear you thinking. Hizashi grumbled, folding his shirt and pants together into a roll and sticking a pair of socks over the end. He always packed like that, for as long as Shouta had known him. He said it was the most space-efficient way to do it. Relax, it's just a mission, like everything else. We'll probably be back before the week is over. I'm worried. Shouta admitted. I noticed. Anything can go wrong. Shouta continued. This is my first major mission since... He pointed at his own leg, dejectedly. And my first undercover mission ever. I do not want to mess this up. I cannot lose my job, Hizashi. Sweetheart, you're not gonna lose your job, Hizashi said, rolling up another pair of jeans and a t-shirt. And no one is forcing you to go on this mission. There is no shame in wanting to back out. The agency will understand if you tell them that you're not ready to go on a major mission. I am ready, Shouta said. I am ready to go on another major mission. That is not the problem. I don't... Talk it out. I'm lucky, Shouta stated. I've been doing this for 3 years. Patrols and small missions and things like that. And I've never seen someone die. And I've never had to kill anyone. And I don't want that to change. Izuku looks at me like I'm a hero. You kind of are. Yes, but how am I supposed to look back at him if I end up killing someone for this job? Or if I'm not able to save anyone? I could die, Shouta noted. And Izuku would be left all alone. He'd be sent into the system. You don't have guardianship over him. You'll probably never see him again and... Shouta, Hizashi said, cutting through his nervous rambling. Shouta gripped his elbows. It'll be fine, alright? Everything is going to be fine. You'll see. Don't stress yourself over this. You have to be on your A game. Everything's gonna be fine. It's just a drug ring. It's a big drug ring, Shouta murmured. A big drug ring with lots of people. Everything will be fine. And oh, how wrong he was. You can't go, Izuku wailed, holding on tight to Hisashi's leg. Please don't go. I'll be good. I'll be the bestest ever. And I'll make lots of pretty pictures of you at school. Just please don't go. Baby, you're gonna be fine, Hizashi said, trying to gently pry the 5-year-old off his leg. You're gonna have so much fun with your auntie, and we'll be back real soon. You're gonna have a great time without your old uncle around telling you what to do. I don't want you to go, Izuku said again. Please don't go, Unky Sashi. Please don't go. My tummy hurts, and I'll miss you. And we still gotta do Unky Show's birthday, and you'll miss movie night, and... Shouta set his and Hisashi's bags down on the ground, crouching in front of where the child was clutching Hisashi's leg. There were still tears falling from the boy's eyes, cheeks red and ruby. And he did look a bit ill. Child, Shouta said, I'm gonna explain something to you, and it's important, so listen. Izuku sniffled. Our jobs are demanding. We might have to leave a lot for missions like these, and we'll miss you when we're gone just as much as you'll miss us. But these are bad people, Cabbage, and someone has to stop them. They're hurting people, Izuku, okay? We have to stop the bad people. Do you understand? But... Izuku rubbed at his eyes and sniffed loudly. What if the bad people hurt you? That's just another part of our careers. It will be a part of your job, too, if you become a hero. It's something we have to accept. But we will always come back home to you, alright? Always. Shouta wasn't sure if he was explaining this correctly. What if it just distressed the child more? What if he wasn't saying it right, and he hurt the child's feelings? This was also complicated. Promise? Izuku prompted, and Shouta nodded. I promise, child, he said. Now release your uncle's leg. I think he needs it. Izuku's ears went as red as his tear-stained face, and he released Hisashi, smiling up at him apologetically. Sorry, Unky, Izuku said. Hisashi ruffled his hair. Don't worry about it, kiddo. Nemuri, from where she was sitting on the couch and watching the situation with raised eyebrows, cleared her throat pointedly. You're gonna be late if you don't leave now, Nemuri said. Shouta sighed. We'll be back soon, Cabbage. Alright? Izuku nodded. My tummy still hurts. It's probably 'cause you were crying, Hizashi said. Drink some water, and if it gets worse, there's some medicine in the cabinet. Your auntie knows where it is. Izuku nodded, eyes still tearful. I love you, Izuku said, wiping at his eyes with new vigor. Bye-bye. We love you too, Sue, Hizashi said warmly, grabbing their bags from the floor. Not bye, child, Shouta stated. See you later. Yes? Hizashi and Nemuri looked at him oddly, like they didn't understand what he was trying to say. But Izuku nodded, affirmatively. See you later. Good child, Shouta said. Izuku hugged his leg then, but let go without having to be prompted. Be safe, Izuku said, bossily. Stop the bad people from hurting anyone, but don't let them hurt you. Okay? Okay, Shouta and Hizashi said in unison. We'll see you later, Izuku, Shouta said, and he and Hizashi left the apartment before Izuku could start crying again. Alright, I'm gonna go straight into Psychology Corner because this fanfic really likes to send me there. So I want to talk about Izuku's psychology. I would talk about Shota's, but he had a little not a meltdown, but a breakdown, a spiral. A spiral is what he had. Of like, what if, he's basically feeling the pressure, but not choosing to back out. When in reality, I feel like he really should back out. You cannot go into this high-stake mission, because undercover is a high-stake mission. You can't let your guard down at all. He's lucky that he has some people in there with him, but one mistake and you're dead. Right? One mistake and you're gone. You can't go into that mission already spiraling. You know, like that's dangerous. But no, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Izuku here. So we're going to talk about certain lines that Izuku said and breaking down the psychology behind them. So for example, Izuku says the line, please don't go, I'll be good. I'll be the best ever. And they'll make lots of pretty pictures for you at school. Just please don't go. Specifically, I'm talking about the I'll be the best ever. Izuku already feels as though he is the reason his mother died. Mitsuki said it to him. You know, it's very heavily implied that he very much feels responsible for her death. He should have been better, right? He didn't try hard enough to rescue his mom from her batteries dying. So Izuku saying, I'll be the best ever, is a last-ditch effort of like, please. Like, in a sense, what he's saying is, what did I do wrong? Why are you leaving me? Izuku has attachment issues. Clearly, we see this. Izuku had a whole breakdown when Shouta left for work for the first time, for the first time after his knee thing. Izuku has attachment issues, right? He is very attached, right? And in this sense, he feels as though he failed. What did I do wrong? Why are they leaving me? Why are they going to get hurt? What did I do wrong? What can I do to keep them here? And this is where we get to the second part of the sentence. I'll make lots of pretty pictures for you at school, just please don't go. It's like, what did I do wrong? I'll be the best. I'll be the best. I can make you pictures. Just stay. Don't leave me. Right? It's a huge, like, as he grows up, if this does not go checked, it will then translate to literally people-pleasing behaviors. Oh my god. But like it will literally translate into stuff like doing all of their homework, doing all of this, doing all of that, buying them a bunch of stuff, showering people that they love and care about with gifts, especially when they start feeling as though there is a disconnect, right? When there's a disconnect, when there's a sudden change, they go into panic mode. They go into, I have to do everything I can right now to keep them on, like, you know, with me. I can't have them leave me. If they leave me, it's my fault. It's my fault. It's never going to be a they leave me, it's their fault. They left me, you know, kind of mentality. It's always going to be they left me. I didn't try hard enough. I now have to try harder in every other relationship and friendship and familiarship I have because I can't have that happen again, right? which is why we see the whole "I'll be the best ever, I'll make pretty pictures for you at school." I want to go into the next line. So this specifically: "Please don't go, Ungisashi, please don't go. My tummy hurts, and I'll miss you. And we gotta do Ungisho's birthday, and you'll miss movie night, and so." If we go under the assumption, let's go into "my tummy hurts." That's the first, like, please stay. If we're talking about this, whether it be he is lying, his stomach doesn't hurt, and he just said that as a ploy to keep them here, or 2, his stomach is actually hurting, and he's using that as a, "Please stay. Look, my tummy's hurt. I'm hurt. My tummy hurts. I'm hurt. I'm upset. Please don't leave me." Right? If his stomach does hurt, I'll tell you right now, the most probable cause is because Izuku's sad. Not because Izuku's angry, but or not because Izuku's crying, but specifically because Izuku is so in turmoil right now in his world, right? For us, this might not seem like, it seems bad, don't get me wrong, like knowing that you're someone that you care about, a family member, is probably going out and having a really tough mission, right? Like, for example, someone in the military, someone who has family in the military, you know how hard that probably is, right? But imagine how much more hard it would be for a little kid that in your mind, in your world, you failed them. They're leaving because of you. And if they leave, the worst thing is going to happen. They're not going to come back. And that's what's going in your mind. They're not going to come back. And it's your fault. Right? So he is pulling all the strings. And he is going through such turmoil. Because for him, this disconnect, it is harsh. I know this as a people pleaser or an ex-people pleaser. I'm technically still kind of a people pleaser, but I'm working on it. Okay, I'm working. But as someone who used to have people pleasing tendencies and who has a very I have an attachment issue. Look, I have certain friends who probably I should have never stayed with. Because they treated me so shitty, but I stayed for as long as I did because I didn't want to lose them. I didn't want to lose anyone. And I know that this probably stems from childhood and a certain event that happened in my childhood that, that plus some other stuff that happened around and stuff like that, right? I know exactly probably where it stems from, but to have someone leave hurts like fucking hell. Like, it hurts for a normal person, but think about it in this sense. If Izuku is neurodivergent, if he does have autism like Shouta, it probably hurts even more because, rejection sensitivity is a thing, and I heard it's hell. But in the sense of just attachment issues, it literally feels as if though your heart is being ripped apart. Someone not being your friend anymore, or someone leaving, or anything like that, literally feels like they died. You go through grief. I know, because I'm still going through grief. I had a friendship that ended about half a year ago. That's 6 months ago, right? 6 months ago, and I'm still going through the griefs, through all the 5 stages of grief, right? I'm not going through all of them right now, but you get what I mean. I'm in a certain stage. There's certain times where I go back to anger, and then I come back to bargaining, and then I go into sadness, right? I mix between it's those 3 stages right now, and I haven't moved from that. I want to go into the 5th stage, acceptance. Can I just accept it and move on? Why does this have to, go through my whole life? But for example, you could get attached to physical objects as well. I lost literally, I had a necklace, a tooth necklace, a chip part of the there was a part of the tooth that chipped off, and I wasn't able to find that small chipped off piece. And I cried for weeks. I was so attached to that necklace. And every time I feel around my neck and it's not there, my world ends. I start hyperventilating and I start searching frantically. Right? It's gotten worse because I'm no longer friends with the person who gave me that. But in the sense of Izuku, this feels as though his world is ending. In his mind, They leave and they're gone. They won't come back. As irrational as that sounds, that is what it feels to this 5-year-old kid. Which is why this probably is manifesting in the sense of a tummy ache. Your mind and your emotions link to your body a lot of the time. Think about it. You ever feel so emotionally tired you start to physically feel it? Yeah. Your body cannot handle so much of that emotion that it manifests physically. Think about it. It's stuff that happens on a regular and people don't really think about it. What happens when you're really, really fucking stressed? Aneurysm, a bunch of health complications, all because you're super stressed and you're stressed out and you're not giving yourself time to relax. Thinking about it logically in the sense of, oh, your emotions don't affect your body. That is bullshit. First of all, when you're sad, you cry. Clearly, your brain and your body have a link, right? Clearly. But think about it in the stress factor. When you're stressed, a lot of the times you start to feel it physically. And it's not just in sadness and, all that. It's in happiness. It's in excitement. It's in angst. It's in anguish, not angst. It's in worry. It's in fear. When you're fearful, what happens? You get goosebumps. You feel the back of your hairs. You start to tremble. You have physical reactions to your emotions. Sometimes these physical reactions are so much that you feel it as in pain. Your stomach starts to hurt. My mother had a really bad case of bad stomach pain, right? She went to the doctors and the doctor's like, hey, clinically, there should be nothing wrong with you. We don't know what's happening. Here's a therapist. And she ended up having depression and anxiety. So yeah, it manifests. Her anxiety manifests in stomach aches because she started realizing that her stomach ached every time she was in an area or a situation where she was feeling anxious, right? And that's where she linked it. But it could be Izuku saying my stomach hurts could not just be a lie to keep the person in, but it could also just be a sign of his emotions manifesting physically. So let's go into the second part. And I'll miss you. And we still gotta do Unky Show's birthday. And we'll miss movie night. And this is what I would say, like, very much trying to, hold on. Trying to hold on. Just like, please don't go. I'll miss you. I'll miss you. And you'll miss this. And you'll do that. You can't go. You can't go. Moving on. Here. This is where Izuku finally fully voices what he's really concerned about. What if the bad people hurt you? That is what he's truly worried about. That they'll leave him and they won't come back. He doesn't want to let go of them in risk of having them never come back. He feels in his mind that this is my fault. I need to do the best I can to keep them here. And I really do like Aizawa's response. Like, hey, this is a part of being a hero. You're probably gonna have to do this. But we'll always come home to you, alright? He tells them this is how life works, this is life, this is what it is to be a hero, but we're gonna come back to you, okay? Promise. And Izuku says promise, and this is a very emotional moment, clearly. I mean, I also want to talk about this last thing, where Izuku says bye-bye, and Aizawa's like, no, not bye, child. See you later, right? And it says here that Nemuri and Hizashi don't really understand it. Like, they look oddly at him. I understand it. For Shouta, he can't say goodbye because this isn't a bye. This isn't a goodbye. This is a see you later. If we say bye, that's in Shota's mind. Saying bye is not appropriate because we're gonna see each other later. We can't say bye because it makes it so much more real if something could happen, like something bad could happen. Both Shouta and Izuku understand that. I can't say bye because then I'm accepting the fact that I might not come back home. And Izuku, right, he may not have noticed it till after Shouta mentioned it. Izuku's like, shit, right, I can't, well, he didn't say shit, but you get what I mean. Like, okay, right, I can't say bye because then that's saying that they're not going to come back. I need to see you later. See you later. It's a desperate hope and ploy of latching on to that whole please, you're gonna come back later. You promised. It's what's gonna happen. See you later. Not a goodbye. Right? It's nice. This is 13 minutes of me ranting. This is half of what the chapter was. But yeah, Psychology Corner. We love it. So that's all I gotta say. That's what I basically analyzed the whole thing. But I hope you guys understand that I'm very loving of psychology, and if I do end up studying psychology in college, when I go to college, if I go to college, y'all are down. You know, the Psychology Corner is gonna get more psychology-wise. Like, damn, y'all are gonna get nerfed. But I want to talk about nothing, because that's the end. So, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds, have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.